Welcome back to Atlanta and Company. I'm Holly Furfer. You know, these days you can't turn on the TV without seeing news reports and ads for all the great real estate deals in today's market. And they all sound quite tempting, don't they? But are they a reality? Well, they can be, but not always. Now, while you may be able to score a rock bottom price, you might also get more than you bargained for. And is the government really going to give you that money to buy a house? Well, that's why we turn to the shopping queen. She is back to steer us in the right direction and can help us sort out all this reality from the hype. Good morning, Fatima.
Good morning.
So what's the first thing we should do when looking to buy a house? Now, if someone says, you know what, I've always wanted to buy my own house, now seems like the great time to do it, what's the first thing they do?
The first thing you do is actually go and pull all of your financial records. You want to actually go and request a credit report with a credit score to see where you stand, and hopefully make sure that you have all your bank documents in order, that you've got a stable job, hopefully. So once you feel like you've got all of that in order, then you should go and visit your bank and start applying for a mortgage, get pre-approved for a mortgage. So you really know that you are going to be able to qualify to buy a home and how much home you can really afford. You don't want to just take a guess and start going and looking at homes. And in today's market, banks have become very, very stingy with their money. So they do not give loans as easily as they used to. They ask for extra documentation, and even higher credit score, and possibly an even higher down payment. So you want to make sure you have all your ducks financially lined up in a row before you even step foot into a house to start looking at houses.
Now, you mentioned mortgage rates, and I know that there's a lot of great deals out there. They say mortgage rates are as low as they've been in forever. So how do you sort of shop for the best one for you? Can you get the lowest one?
Definitely. It will vary. The rate that you get will vary on your credit score, the amount of down payment that you're able to put down, as well as, you know, what kind of programs that you're qualified for. So that's why I say to do it before you actually start going and looking at a home. And one thing is that a lot of people are afraid when they're looking for mortgage rates that they're applying is that, oh, I'm going to get an inquiry on my credit report and that'll be a negative against me. However, the credit scoring companies now, credit agencies now realize this. So any credit inquiry that's for a mortgage in a 30-month period will count as one. So if you have 30 banks checking your credit report to give you a rate quote, it would only count as one inquiry on your credit report in a 30-day period. So don't be afraid to go out there and rate shop.
Okay, now let's talk about foreclosed homes. We keep hearing about foreclosures happening not only in Atlanta but across the country, and a lot of people snapping up all these foreclosed homes. Are they really a good idea to buy something that's in foreclosure?
Well, they can definitely be a good idea to buy, but there's a lot of things that you should know ahead of time before you actually start the process. First, foreclosed homes are actually, in the state of Georgia, auctioned off on the first Tuesday of every month. So tomorrow, go to your county court steps and you'll see houses that are being foreclosed. They're advertised in your local paper for 4 weeks prior to the foreclosure date, and you can show up and bid on a property. However, as exciting as that sounds, auction, courthouse steps, the majority of times the home actually goes back to the lender. The lender ends up being, excuse me, the highest bidder for the property, and it goes back to the lender, and then the lender puts it up for sale with a real estate agent on the open market. So generally expect to see a whole new list of foreclosed properties on the multiple listing service with your real estate agent towards the 3rd or 4th week of the month. That's when you see a whole lot coming in. Now, having said all of this about how the foreclosure process works, be ready, because obviously a foreclosed home is a home that basically the person living in it has been kicked out of. They have severe damage sometimes. They've been neglected. Obviously, if they couldn't make their mortgage payments, they couldn't afford to take care of the home, and they have sat empty for months on end. So it's not going to be a nice, pretty house. It might look nice and pretty on the outside, but you go in and it could have a lot of damage. So be prepared to know what you're looking at.
Let's talk about something I've heard a lot about in the news, short sales. What exactly is a short sale and who's affected by it?
A short sale is when a home seller sells the home short of what the mortgage is. So the mortgage company, the bank, has to agree to sell the house for a loss. So when you're dealing with a short sale, you actually have multiple parties. So as a buyer, you're dealing with the seller, the seller's agent, and the bank. So now, obviously, since you have all these parties involved, a short sale ends up actually being the opposite of what the name implies. It actually becomes a long sale. So you can be looking at a process that can drag on for as long as 6 months. Because before the bank will agree to take less than the mortgage, the seller has to prove that they can't afford the mortgage. So they have to submit financial documents and affidavits and everything. And then in addition to all of the qualification process that you will go through as a buyer. So there's multiple steps involved, multiple parties, and the banks are inundated with short sale requests and offers. So if you want to go the short sale route, you can definitely expect some good deals, and the homes tend to be in better condition since someone is actually living in the property. However, it's going to be a very long process, so just be prepared for that.
What about if you're a first-time home buyer? I would imagine that this is probably a pretty good time for you to grab a house.
It is a great time, especially with the new stimulus plan that just got passed, because all first-time home buyers with an adjusted gross income single of $75,000 can get an $8,000 tax credit.
Wow.
So that's not a deduction, that's a credit. So that's exactly how much money you will save off of your taxes when you purchase a home from January 1st of 2009 to December 1st of 2009. And if you actually hurry up and get that done prior to April 15th, tax day of this year, you can actually count your 2009 purchase towards your 2008 taxes. So you can get the credit
for last year.
You can get this year's credit for last year. So it's a very, very good opportunity for people first-time home buyers to go and get a home. They've got low interest rates, low prices on homes, and this tax credit. So if you have got the means to buy a house, definitely this is the best time.
And let me ask you, we're talking about short sales and foreclosures and all of this, but there are some people out there who maybe, just for circumstance, their job is being transferred or they're having a baby and they need a bigger house, that they're just straight sellers. They're not having financial problems, but they need to move for whatever reason. How is this affecting your average seller?
That's another point too, is because of all the foreclosures and short sales in typical neighborhoods, it's driving the prices of the entire neighborhood down.
Right.
So while you might be looking at homes that might not necessarily be a foreclosure or a short sale, you can still drive a hard bargain because of the overall prices of the neighborhood and the circumstances of that seller too. So definitely know that it's going to be a negotiation chip for you. But once again, you have to be patient, and I would highly recommend working with an experienced buyer's agent to make sure that you're being very well represented.
As they say, it's a buyer's market.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Fatima Medikarimi. We appreciate you. Great information, especially right now when the big buzzword is real estate.
Exactly.
Thank you. And if you want more items and money-saving tips, ideas, coupons, want to know more about this topic, visit the Shopping Queens website. It's shoppingqueen.com. All right.